Hey there, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to Daniela with Adventures in Consciousness, another plus-size belly dance, body awareness, body spirituality tutorial class. Today we're going to be going over another aspect of another layer that you can add to your sacred dance practice, and that is your arms. A lot of times when, in particular in belly dance, what they say is they can tell the difference between a beginner and an advanced by the way they use their arms, or how they use their arms, if they use their arms, how much they use their arms. And that's in a sense of, I feel, the ability to not only layer, but be comfortable with all of the aspects of your body and really allowing the whole self to get involved in the dance. And that includes your fingers to your wrists, to your elbows, shoulders, neck, right? Letting it all get in there, letting it all have a turn. So if you want to kind of take your dance meditation, spiritual dance practice to another level, is adding in another layer of arms. So of course you can work with the hips and you can totally, completely focus in on hip energy. Just work it all the time. This is what I did for a long time. It's just shimmying, lots of taksims and maidas and figure eights, and just working on layering all that stuff in my hips, like getting a really solid foundation in there was my prerogative for the longest time. And I didn't use my arms. It was, you just kind of hold them there. Because that wasn't the focus. Like, that wasn't where my energy was. That wasn't where I was paying attention. But as I've learned and grown, I've added all of these layers onto it, and arms is one of them. So I'm going to show you a few things that you can do with your arms to practice, that you can add into your sacred dance practice, that are of the belly dance persuasion. So we're going to start with our hands. Let me get a little bit closer here for you. So hands are a wonderful thing. Almost all, as I think off the top of my head, almost all of this dances, sacred dances that I can think of, incorporate hands or mudras or some kind of accents in some way. They're telling a story in some way. They're moving it along. They're helping it. It's you need it. So working with your hands is very important. You want to start with stretching them, right? Working them out, playing with them. Just play with them in the store. Play with them when you're sitting there watching Netflix, right? Just stretch them out. You're really going to feel it in the tendons of your hands. And you want that. And then bring your wrists. Right? Purposefully add your wrists. And just work them out. Because, believe it or not, those are dance hands. This is it. Stretching them out. This is a form. You can do this. This is part of it. Right? You can use them. It's not just a stretch. Traditional dance hands hold an egg. That's the thing. Pretend you're holding an egg between your thumb and your middle finger. Hold that egg. We're going to hold that egg. We're going to carry it around. We're just going to hold it. We're going to carry it around. Doesn't matter how we move our hands, how we move our arms. We're just going to hold that freaking egg, buddy. Right? Very traditional dance hands. Beautiful. Very classic. And you don't have to do a lot with it. It looks beautiful without having to do a lot. Great. But if you want to, all right, add accents, add different fingers, add them all. So I'm just doing the finger thing and changing where I'm holding my hands. So play around with this, right? This is the beginning of dance arms, dance hands. This is it. Stretching them out. You're going to feel it then You're gonna start with playing with your tendons, right? And then bringing it into your wrist, and it's gonna bring that into your forearm. Your forearms are gonna get real tight. Why? Because we never move these muscles. We never stretch them out. Right? So, hands. The next thing is your classic snake arms, which once you've got all of this warmed up, right? It's the shoulder, your elbow, your wrist, your hand. And then just like your hips, with the mechanics of that piston, right? It just drops. Shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand. Okay? Shake it out. Shake it out whenever you need to. And one thing I learned from a really important dance teacher is that be careful where you hold your shoulders, because I ended up jacking up my shoulders, trying to hold my arms way back here. Look really like BellyDance, right? Back here. And I ended up doing it from back there, and that's why everything crinkles now. But she taught me that when you're dancing, it's like this, fine, but you actually bring it in. And so even though I'm actually almost like this, right, instead of this actually looks more natural than trying to over-exaggerate it. So just be careful where you're holding your shoulders, okay? Don't try and overextend them back. You'll end up hurting yourself. Tail to the wise. So play around. Lift and drop. And as this one's going down, right, do the piston. Just let it happen. Because here's the thing. It's really good to be technical. It's important to be technical in a lot of ways because, just like I said, you'll end up not hurting yourself so much. But it's important to have the basis of being technical, but don't hold yourself to it. If you don't feel like you're doing a move absolutely perfectly, without it hurting, of course, if you don't feel like you're doing a move absolutely perfectly, don't let it stop you from doing it. Keep practicing. Keep playing with it. Play in the mirror. See what it looks like. Get it to where you want it. So that way when you do it, it's muscle memory that way. And it just takes a little practice. It takes a little practice when you're doing extra things, like just hanging out outside, taking a break at work, or again, I always use this, but doing the dishes, or when you're cooking dinner, or like whatever else you're doing, vacuuming, just like, just right? Just practice. Get it in, because it's interesting, like the more mobility you can get in it, the better. So snake arms. You can do them in front. It's very simple. They're very beautiful. The most important thing you want to keep in mind, I'm going to close out with this. The most important thing you want to keep in mind when you're doing hands and arms is that the whole idea of them is to accentuate whatever you're doing, to accentuate you, to put whatever you're doing on show, to lead the eye, right, where you want it to go. So if you're playing, right, let it be a frame. You're essentially always wanting to frame yourself. Imagine you're playing with your aura. It extends out around you, right? But as you can see, the movements of my arms are complementary to whatever else my body is doing. So practice that. That's going to be the most important, to being able to bring arms, neck, shoulders, chest even, into your dance practice confidently and safely, is to practice it. To practice doing it in different ways, to practice accentuating yourself and not overdoing it. So it doesn't have to be big and bold all the time. It can be, but it doesn't have to. So take that into consideration. Play around with that. Play around with, play around with yourself in the mirror. I can't, phrasing. But play around, right? Play around with those movements. Check them out in the mirror, and see which ones you like. See which ones feel good on you. See which ones make you feel like you look good, and play with those. So play with your arms. Allow them to accentuate. Practice keeping your fingers limber and stretching them out, and you'll be able to always have fun. So play around with that. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit of arm and finger work, shoulder work, with Adventures in Consciousness, our body awareness plus size belly dance courses or tutorials. I can talk. So thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, share all the wonderful things. Thank you for your support. If you want to see anything in particular, any moves or anything like that broken down for you, let me know and drop them in the comments below, and I would be happy to make a video about it. I love hearing from you guys. So have a great rest of your day. Go play with your arms. Sorry, a bumping song just came on, right? I'll see you guys next time.